this. I'm a civilian. If I get robbed,
you a rat.
And I go tell the police this robbed me, I'm a rat.
Yeah,
that's where you contradict yourself.
How?
Because you just sat here and said that, I'm for the peace, I'm for the good shit, whatever.
Yeah, I am.
But if I get robbed and I go tell the police this robbed me, I'm a rat.
The definition of a rat is when you go cooperate or assist law enforcement in any way, shape, form. I'm just telling you the definition. You don't like the way it sounded to come out because it's harsh. But that's the definition of a rat.
When he pressing peace, he talking about gang violence. He ain't talking about nigga getting booked.
Okay.
And I think it's just, the connotation of being called a rat, but also I don't live by what street dudes call me either. I don't live by those codes and ethics. You shouldn't care that he's calling you a rat, though. You shouldn't care that he considers you a rat for doing that.
No, but I hate the fact that he calls me a rat.
But the nerve of you attack police, but you don't want to get, you can snitch, but you don't want a nigga to call you a rat.
Snitch what if I'm a civilian, brother?
You the reason why the snitches is
that's the shit I'm talking about.
When that shit come out? When that civilian shit come out?
Since gangsta's been on the internet.
Because I'm a regular
podcasting.
So if I'm walking down the street and I get jukes for my chain, I'm a rat because I tell?
That's the definition of a rat.
But why do you care so much what street dudes think?
That's when you straddle the fence.
I don't care if he thinks I'm a rat, if that's what my whole thing is.
Like, he want to use a civilian pass to...
Hey, yo, what's happening? Most the great. Day late, dollar short. Live and direct, but we ride for respect. Shout out Damian Porter for the content, man. Man been cooking. He been on his job, man. He been on his journalism tip, man. And he's doing it quite well, man. So start out giving my flowers for reacting to this video. Spotey Face, Neighborhood 40 Crip, the Prince of Peace, finds himself in an uncompromising position, speaking on a scenario about one of the hosts on No Jumper asked, is it snitching if a civilian gets harmed and they call the police? And Sporty Face said absolutely yes, he's a snitch. I disagree with that. I got my reasons. I mean, technically, I guess he's right. If you alert the authority, if you work with the authorities, then yeah, you did tell. But do we label that person as a snitch if they're a tax-paying individual? Once you pay taxes and you out the way and you don't participate in the gang life, your tax dollars pay for law enforcement to protect you. Everybody isn't street. And it's neither here nor there. It really doesn't matter, man, because, the people in the streets aren't following the rules either. So we can't expect for people who don't involve themselves in the street to follow the code and the narrative. I got a homeboy, man, serving 81 years to life, man. Y'all go over to Trading War Stories, and I have one of the videos up on this page as well. Then go over and check it out, man. It's an 8-part series. We're on part 2. And I just wanted to skim over the top of one of the things that he said during our conversation that we had. Everybody's been having this conversation surrounding the 50-50 and prison politics. He said he'd go to the 50-50 yard in a heartbeat, man, if they told him he'd go home. He can go home, man. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter, man. People want to be free, People who commit crimes want to be free. And people who don't participate in the lifestyle, man, they want to be free. And they don't want to have to retaliate against someone who's a gang member when they're not a gang member, because they feel like they'll be up against the whole gang. You know what I'm saying? And they were talking about if something happened to someone's mother, would that be telling? And Sporty Face said, go get cracking on. Well, everybody doesn't have that in them to go get crack. It's a lot of street dudes who don't even have that in them to get cracking. They got homeboys who've been unalived and they haven't avenged the killers who've killed them. You know what I mean? I got a homeboy, man, serving life right now, And one of my other homeboys told him. They put him in a cell together. One of the homies wore a wire. And when he went to court to give his testimony on a homie, the prosecutor asked him, well, if this is your homeboy, man, why are you giving testimony against him? Why are you turning state evidence against your homeboy? And he said, man, I love my homeboy. That's the homie. You know what I'm saying? From the hood. I love him. But, you know, I want to go home, man. I got family, you know. He already cooked. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, pretty much, man, if I had to throw him under the bus to go home, man, you know, that's what it is, man. And nobody's honoring the street street laws and codes anymore. You know, people want to go home, man. People want to be free. Even the people who participate in it, they know where this road ends. You know, they know they're going to go to jail. They know they could possibly be killed, but they're not going to play fair if they get cracked. Look at Big U. All the people who possibly could be giving testimony against this man. These are people who he was closest to. You know what I'm saying? Those people want to go home. They don't care about people calling them a rat. You know, once you get caught up and pinned in that situation and you get bagged up into that corner, man, ain't no telling what you're going to do. It's a lot of people say they won't tell because they've never been in the situation to where they would have to tell. That's the difference. Everybody tough, you know what I'm saying, in the street until it's time to be tough in street, until it's time to honor these codes. But with that being said, man, I wholeheartedly disagree with what Sporty Face had to say relating to someone being a snitch who's a civilian, man. A civilian is a civilian. And it doesn't matter anymore anyway because nobody's playing by these rules, man. You know what I'm saying? You got people who tough as a nail, people who outside unaliving people. If they are afforded the opportunity to go home to tell on you, they're going to tell on you. That's a fact. It's very seldom that a person who's going to stand up and take life, man, for something that they, you know, that they done. You know what I'm saying? Had a homeboy who he got off on a knees or the trees aisle. He got a smoker to rent him a car. Smoker wasn't from out here. They got the car and they aligned the smoker with the vehicle that the dirt was done in. Smoker got life. Didn't tell. You know, it's rare instances of, you know, it's not a lot of solid people left on this earth anymore, man. Damn sure not in the streets, man, because you got to understand, man, in the underworld society, man, there's no rules, man. There's no honor amongst thieves already. So you mix that in with constant police pressure. And, you know, a lot of these dudes out here, man, they got drug habits, you know, or they got a baby mama they trying to come home to. You know what I'm saying? They don't want the homies smashing their baby mama. They're going to tell, man. They've never been caught in these uncompromising positions like this before. And they don't know what to do. You know, and the feds, like I said, you know, as it relates to the Big U case, they throw out what they call a dragnet. If they arrest 200 people, you know, their odds of somebody telling is super high. You know, because a lot of those people too, like I said, you get the females, they have kids. You know, you think a woman who has kids, who has a life outside of, you know, the underworld life that she participated in, is going to sit up there and do life for you? No. They're going to tell, man. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, Spotey Face, man, had to disagree with you on that, man. You wrong. Yeah, technically you're right, but the significance of it is null and void, man. This is your host, Most the Great, Day Late, Dollar Short News, live and direct, where we ride for respect, man. We out.